So earlier the Randy Orton thing. So
he said it was 2 years ago.
So Randy Orton thing. I thought it was this. He basically pulls out his penis and then he touches it, and then he has the right to shake his hand while he's right there with his junk out. So
and that's not grounds to fire him in this day and age.
Don't know
how can that not be? I would immediately go to Vince and say, "Hey, you got a guy standing out here with his dick hanging out, and he touched it, and he wanted me to shake his hand. Now, what are you going to do about it, or do I have to make this thing public?"
Well, you don't. Vince McMahon usually do the same stuff, though.
He never ever fucking did it to me, because I guarantee goddamn to you, Vince McMahon or not, I'd have put a fucking boot right where his dick is. Ain't nobody going to pull their fucking dick out in front of me and then act like they're going to shake my goddamn hand. There ain't nobody on this fucking planet Earth got that clout with me.
Well, I've heard a lot of Ric Flair stories that he just gets naked and runs around and
Well, I only met him a few times, but he was never naked or ever pulled his dick out in front of me. Now, where did you hear that he does?
That was on the ESPN story, the 30 for 30, that he runs out and runs naked all the time after every show. And
I must have missed the Vince McMahon. I never even knew they
not
did
Vince McMahon. I'm talking about Ric Flair. Sorry.
Oh, well, Ric Flair's not Vince McMahon, and I've known Flair for God knows how many years. I've known Flair since '84 and done countless shows with him and never once seen him even remotely naked. So I don't know. I mean, maybe at the hotel when he's with his drunken boys, I don't know, but not at a show. I ain't gonna say he didn't do it, but I guarantee you, I did 100 shows that Ric Flair was on. And even the one that me and Cena and Sean O'Hare had against him and his son, and didn't see him naked that night either. And we had dressing rooms next to each other. So I ain't going to say it didn't happen, but I guarantee you, I was on or at 100 shows that he was at backstage, and I never saw it happen. So, you know, it's like Trump saying the N-word or something, saying they've never heard him say it, and others are saying, it sounds like something he'd say. But I can honestly say I never saw him do it. Whether Cornette saw it or not, I don't know.
Kenny, who's going to win the World Series?
I tell you what, Seattle's acting like they might want to. They just swept 4 from Houston at Houston. Cardinals are starting to creep back in. The Reds have normally been playing good against good teams. I'll be watching them tonight once we're done, so don't give me any updates. We got shit beat out of us last night. Wow, who's going to win the World Series? You got to take Houston seriously because they did it last year. But I tell you what, if Seattle gets into the playoffs and Oakland is playing real good ball, it might be hard to go against either one of those American League teams that are playing the best ball right now. Houston is definitely fading. They just lost 4 in a row at home. Cubs have been not real consistent. They've lost 2 or 3 in a row.
I think my Cubbies got a chance to make it, though.
They better start playing more consistently. Fuck, they let the Reds beat up on them the last couple of series.
Yeah. Well, but they have been injury prone too a little bit as well.
Cubbies. When the fuck have you ever been to Chicago other than to mark out at a fucking wrestling show?
I got family from Chicago. I'm going in to get it.
I ain't never met them.
Well, my cousin was a photographer for the Chicago Sun-Times for 25 years.
And what did he do after that?
Well, the Chicago Sun-Times. Well, no, he does weddings now because
whoever heard of the Chicago Sun-Times? That sounded like a made-up newspaper.
You had 2
never even heard of
Chicago. You have the Tribune and the Sun-Times.
Never heard of either one of them.
Well, you ever heard of who's the Roger Ebert? You know that guy, the 2 thumbs up guy, Roger Ebert, the 2 thumbs up guy. What did he do with his thumb?
Never heard of him.
Well, he's a 2 thumbs up guy in movies. You ever heard of that?
I guess you're going to say his name was Siskel. I never heard of him either.
Oh, okay. Well, Roger Ebert was from the Sun-Times. He's the most famous person from that newspaper.
I know.
You ever heard of WGN?
You really don't like this job, do you?
I'm just asking.
Yeah, you're asking. You're asking for it, all right. Yeah, I'm very familiar with WGN, the home of Harry Carey. Or Harry Carey's. And I would not tolerate that shit. I know Randy's an OVW boy, and I actually, Randy and I get along now, but no. If I'm running the company and he does that one time, he's gone. No questions asked. Not in this day and age. I mean, maybe back in the old days you could get by with that shit, but no, it's a whole new world now. Too goddamn many girls running around. Too many sensitive people that, and boy, I wouldn't want to deal with it either. I don't want you. I wouldn't write shit for him. Write your own shit. Pull your dick out and write a story.
Do you watch Lucha Underground?
No, I do not. No, I don't. Chris watched some, and I tried to watch one, and it's just so fucking ridiculous. I couldn't do it.
Any ghost encounters?
No ghost encounters. Why? Because there ain't no fucking ghost. Jesus.
When was the last time you went swimming?
Last time I went swimming. Well, I don't know how to swim, so as far as to say that I went swimming, it would be never. But the last time I got in the water would have probably been the last time I was at the beach back in early 2000s when me and Chris would go down there. I had a friend that would get us a free the Four Seasons Hotel at Daytona. And of course, I had relatives all over the Gulf Coast, and we'd stay down there and we'd go to either the ocean or the Gulf. And I would probably say 2002, 2003 or 4 was probably the last time I went.
Tony,
I would get out there and wait in the Gulf and the ocean, but I don't know how to swim.
Tony Schiavone has a lot of naked stories of Flair on his podcast, and apparently he calls it a baby's arm holding an apple.
Excuse me?
Tony Schiavone talks about a lot of Flair naked stories on his podcast, and he calls his member, Ric Flair's member, a baby's arm holding an apple.
A baby's arm? I don't know. Nothing I want to know. Good for Schiavone. No. I'm glad he got to see Rick's dick. Fortunately, I never saw it. Maybe because if you're a guy that doesn't want to see another man's dick, you don't see it. Probably. Maybe those that saw the man's dick wanted to see it.
That's true.
Maybe they got up close and personal with it, even beyond stories I don't even want to hear. So